Critter Trades here, and today I'm going to show you how to install a MirrorTap, which is basically a cable that will plug in to a dash cam or a radar detector, and it taps the power from your rear view mirror, so you don't have to have a cable running down to your 12-volt outlet, or you don't have to take wires up through the headliner. It's a little bit quicker way to do it. It's a smaller cable, and they're actually pretty easy to install. All you really need is a little multimeter like this. These are about $20 or $30 on Amazon. I'll put a link to the one that I use down in the description. They're really handy to have for pretty much anything you do electrical on a car, or really a lot of different electrical systems, so they are nice to have around. The two different settings we're going to use are the continuity, which is down here. It's like a little, it almost looks like sound waves. This is the little symbol for it. It should be at 1. And when you do continuity test, if you put the two ends together, it will make a sound. Lets you know that the circuit is complete when they are touching a circuit that touches each other. So if the wires are connected to each other, it will make that sound. The other one we're going to use is 20 volts direct current, and that's on the V, which is for voltage, and then it has a solid line with 3 dots under it. That's for when you have power running through the system, so that you can check how much voltage is at your wires. Big thing to note is that when you're doing anything with continuity, you want the system to be off. I'm going to be using the 12-volt outlet, also known as a cigarette lighter, down in the console. Make sure your cigarette lighter is only on when the car is on, so that you can test for continuity. You can test it by plugging something into it, see if it turns on when the car is off. If it doesn't turn on, then that's what you want to use. You can use that. It's a simple way to find the ground and the 12 volt. So this will work again with any vehicle that has a mirror option, and you can use a MirrorTap on. MirrorTap is the same company that makes the blend mount for these. And so you can declutter a lot of the space up here, especially if you have more than one device, and they make some really awesome products. I'll leave a link down in the description for the MirrorTap and for the blend mount as well. The instructions that they come with are really simple. They also come with a lot of different taps to use, because not all of the mirrors have the same connections, and they offer some larger sizes and some smaller sizes depending on which one you need. My car needed the smallest size available. Sometimes if you purchase these from different websites, they will only come with one size, and you'll need to order the correct size, and it can be difficult to tell which size you actually need. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set it to the continuity. If it doesn't make a sound, then your meter is not working correctly. And then what you're going to do is we're going to touch the negative down to the outside perimeter area of the 12-volt socket in my car. And then we're going to touch the other end to what we think is the ground, because this will test for the ground. The outside edge of the socket is ground, and we're going to pull this plug out. There's a little clip on the top of it. Some of them will be covered by a plastic surround, especially if you have like a camera up here, and they might have more than 3 wires. Mine has 3 wires. We'll test which one we think is the ground. You also may need to use one of these fuse taps in here to be able to test it, because your prong from your multimeter might not fit in the hole. So we're gonna put it in here and see if this is the correct one. Okay, so it beeps. So it looks like this is our ground. We'll test the other ones just to make sure. So that one's also appearing to be a ground as well. That one does not, so that's probably our positive wire. So now what you can do to test the positive is, instead of touching the edge of the cigarette lighter or the 12-volt lighter, you can touch the prong right in the center of it. That's where the positive connection is. So yep, that's our positive. Now the reason why we probably have 2 grounds here is because I think one of them is for the auto dimming feature. If I hook it up to one of these 2 for the ground and it's the wrong one, it'll probably happen is probably the auto dimming mirror function will be the circuit for it, and it'll turn off when the car is in reverse, because most auto dimming mirrors do that. So if it does happen to do that, then you're probably on the wrong one, and you can just switch it over. It's pretty easy to do. So this is our positive. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to switch this over to 20 volts, and just to double check that we get 12 volts when I put these 2 connectors on here. And now it won't show any volts when the car is off, because again, it's not on. So when you're in 12-volt mode, you're going to want to put the car in accessory mode. So I'm getting 12.18 volts, which is good. So now we're going to connect these here, and we're going to tape them on so that they stay connected when we go to connect them, so they don't fall out, because they'll slide out of these pins pretty easily with how small and dainty they are. All right, so we got these taped on here. Now we're going to put them in and plug our detector in. And this should be all we need to do. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is once you attach these here, you're gonna wanna tape this to this at the right length so that it doesn't, or use a zip tie that it included so that these don't come out as easily. When they're in there and wobbling around, they might come out. You can also get different lengths of cable. So if you know exactly the length you need, you can get a little bit shorter one. That'll fit a little bit better. So now we know our detector's on here, so we can plug this back in so our mirror works too. And again, you're gonna wanna make sure these are tucked up here. That way that you, again, aren't gonna have these loosen on you.